What is up, Online Empire Academy? This is Dean Soto here with you again, and we're going to be talking about two concepts today. One that you've heard of over and over and over and over and over again, that you're probably sick of, and you have it in your mind what it is and what I'm talking about. And the second you've probably never heard of before at all. And before I actually tell you what those two things are, you like that? You like that hook to keep you in here? Before I tell you what those two things are, we're going to go to a comment from one of my dropship videos on how I find suppliers for dropshipping. Okay. And really good comment. And I'm going to do it in a surfer voice. Okay. This came from Caleb, and he says, so let's try that again. So is this like if you used a Shopify store, or do you just become a dealer and then drop ship their products because you get a discount because you're a seller? For sure, brah. Whatever. Thanks. Don't make fun of my surfer thing. I'm not a surfer. How am I supposed to know what they sound like other than what I see on Fast Times at Ridgemont High or whatever? Or Endless Summer. I don't even think they talk in the summer. I digress. So great question, Caleb. Great question. So this was on how to drop ship on Amazon, how to find suppliers to drop ship on Amazon, etc. And I want to answer this question with another question. Okay. What is the difference, the biggest difference between drop shipping on, say, a Shopify store or WooCommerce or BigCommerce or whatever store, and drop shipping on Amazon? And if you don't think drop shipping on Amazon is possible or legal, and you might get your account suspended, blah, 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 I'll put a link in the comments to an article I did on the 10 myths about drop shipping on Amazon. You can totally do it. I've been doing it for 2 years. It's totally legal. And a lot of people who I've taught to do this, who have bought my dream dropshipping course, have absolutely loved it. And so it works. Okay. But what's the big difference between Shopify and Amazon? I'll let you think on that for a little bit while I sip on my coffee. Fresh Colombian grown or Arabic beans. I don't even know. I'm not a connoisseur. All right. You got it? You understand what it is now? Probably not. A lot of people think, oh, just, Shopify and Amazon, it's all the same, right? In fact, the sexy thing right now in a lot of courses are those Shopify stores for drop shipping. Well, guess what? The big difference between the two is the mind of a small do-it-yourself business owner most of the time, okay? There are some that aren't like that. The difference is do it myself. I'm going to put up my store. I'm going to do all this, yada, yada, yada. And the mind of a bigger business / investor. Okay. It's the difference between someone who trades their time and or money to make a profit, and someone who buys assets, who make them profits over and over and over and over again. Okay. Huge difference. A lot of people don't even know that that's the big difference, but it is a huge difference. And why do I say that? Well, because with Amazon, I'll start with Shopify. And this is where we get into our first term, passive income. Okay. Passive income. So remember, the two things that we're going to be talking about today we're going to be talking about two things. I'm talking about the first one right now, which is passive income. Okay, passive income. Now, you've heard that over and over and over again, right? Passive income. You want to make passive income. You want to make passive income. Everyone wants to make passive income, and it's the sexiest thing and everything like that. But really, what is that? And how do you go about doing that? There are tons of ways to do that. And really, that is the ultimate goal, right? For most people. If you want freedom, if you want financial freedom, if you want to be able to do whatever you want, whenever you want to do it, you have to have passive income. And that means that you're not things aren't necessarily dependent on you spending your time and or money to get a return. Okay, up front, I should say, especially with the money. Time you shouldn't be spending really anything at all. Anyway, so passive income. All right, passive income. How can you get passive income with a Shopify store? Okay. The answer is usually up front you can't. Okay, because how are you doing the drop shipping on a Shopify store? You're finding dealers, you're becoming a dealer for a specific supplier, and then you have to start running Facebook ads and testing Facebook ads and doing all of that stuff. Okay, you are actively having to do all of those things, and then on top of that, everything is dependent on whether or not you can bring that traffic over, whether that's organic or generally it's through Facebook ads or some kind of pay per click, things like that, right? So you're always involved. You're always heavily involved in it, right? In some fashion or another, testing, putting money up front for ads, things like that. Okay. Well, with Amazon, that's different. Amazon, they already have the customers. They already do the advertising for you. If someone lands on one of your listings that you put up, guess what? Boom, they're retargeting. Boom, they're retargeting. Boom, they're retargeting. Plus, they have customers who are searching already for things that you could potentially put up there. So all I have to do as an Amazon seller, as someone who is drop shipping on Amazon, is put up a listing and generally wait. I can do some sponsored products. I can do Amazon sponsored products, pay for sponsored ads and everything like that. And even that is like passive income because you set it up once and you let it go on an automatic campaign. And I talk about that in my course too. You set it up and you let it go. Okay. And you let it do its thing. And you're constantly getting passive income coming in. Okay. And that is the big difference. They have customers. They do all the marketing. They do all of that. Sure, you have advantages with the Shopify store. You have advantages with all those other things. But the advantage being that you are collecting your email list, all that other stuff. But on the flip side, when you look at what you're able to do by setting and forgetting, you're building passive income streams. You're building cash flow off of a set and forget model on Amazon. And you can even do that on eBay as well. And so that is a huge difference. Now, the second huge difference is that when you are selling on Amazon, you are developing infinite returns. Okay, infinite returns. So passive income and infinite returns. Now, what is infinite returns? Okay, rather than having me explain it, I'm going to give you the man who taught me how to do and what the heck an infinite return is, Robert Kiyosaki, and just a small little video, a little clip that talks about what an infinite return is and how you get it with an Amazon, with when you're doing drop shipping on Amazon as opposed to other places. Okay, so check this out.
How many people realize when the crash comes, it's going to be a good time? Yeah, it's a great time. And that's really what I want you to leave with today. That no matter what happens, as bad as it gets out there, it's really a good time. But you have to change your thoughts. And it has to do with this thing called ROI, which stands for return on investment. Okay? Not a very hard word to understand, but I'm going to talk to you about that. Who knows what that means? Infinity. So I'll be talking for the next 2.5 hours, 3 hours about an infinite rate of return on your money. In plain English, it means it doesn't take money to make money. It takes financial education, and you'll be getting some of it today. So an infinite return is very simply this. Let me give another example. Let's say you put up 1 million Aussie. It could be $1 Aussie. It could be $10. Well, let's just use million for now. And in a year, that million throws off 100K cash flow. What is my ROI? It's a 10%. Okay? Math is not that hard. The one thing I did, I had 3 years of calculus, and I was flunking out like a wild man, going, holy Jesus. And I asked my calculus teacher, I said, how in the world am I going to use calculus? He says, I don't know. So all of you out there who are like me, not good at math, let me tell you, if you can count to 10, you're okay. You don't need much more than that. So this here is a 10% return. I'll show what an infinite return is. You put up no money, and you still make $100,000. That's infinite. Because why? You have no money in it. And this is what my rich dad taught me. From the time I was 9, began teaching me how you do this.
Pretty sweet, huh? Okay, so the whole idea is, look, when you are dropshipping on Amazon, if you buy my course, sure, it's not a cheap course. It's not a cheap course. But once you get past that initial investment, you're getting infinite returns because you're not paying for any products, right? You're not paying for any products until it's sold. And as they're selling, you're just making passive income. So, even if you paid, say, $2,000, $5,000 for a course like this, where you're learning how to sell on Amazon, dropship on Amazon, because you're not paying for products up front, once you get past that initial investment that you invested in, boom, infinite returns from then on. It just keeps going. All those listings stay up forever, right? In fact, I had a listing I talk about where it had been up for months, and it was for like $2,000 something. And it was crazy because it had been up for months, and I'm like, I totally forgot about it. And boom, it's sold for like $2,500. $2,500. And I'm thinking, oh, okay, cool. I'll probably make 10% or whatever off of that. Went and checked out how much I actually made off of it. $1,200, around $1,200 to $1,500 off of that one product selling. Okay. And I did nothing. I let it just sit there. I did nothing. How crazy is that? So it's an infinite return. Okay. And it's passive income. So you're constantly making that passive income. So it's the difference between the big difference is the difference between, if you've seen the cash flow quadrant, another Robert Kiyosaki thing, if you've seen the cash flow quadrant, there's 4 quadrants. Okay. There's the employee, the small business owner, and those are the 2 people who trade their time for dollars. Okay. Then you have the big business and investor quadrants. Okay. And right there is a huge, huge mindset shift. Okay. And if you don't understand that, here's another clip on the cash flow quadrant. All right. And why thinking from a Shopify store generally, it can be a big business. It can be all that stuff. It could be an infinite return. It can be passive income, but generally 90% of the time, I would say 99% of the people who do Shopify stores do not have that in mind and are not able to make an infinite return and passive income from it. Generally, that's what the case is. But with an Amazon store, it's very hard not to get an infinite return, very hard not to make it passive income. And so that being said, check this out. There's another just little mindset shift that if you don't understand this concept, you're really not going to see the benefit of why doing Amazon over something else. Because guess what? as my Amazon store is going on, I'm doing merch by Amazon. I'm doing consulting. I'm doing all these different things. I have probably 8 different multiple income streams coming in. In fact, I just got paid from a Udemy course that I have. And those things are all passive, all infinite returns, all just making me money every month. Okay. And the whole crux of it was really understanding and learning how to sell and dropship on Amazon as opposed to Shopify and all those other stuff. So check this out, the cash flow quadrant. Understand this, and you will start understanding how to build financial freedom, how to build wealth, how to really run a business that lets you turn it into an asset and build passive income and infinite returns. Check this out.
So, again, the reason somebody thinks a house is an asset is because they lack financial intelligence or low financial IQ. They may go on to Harvard or in whatever, but if you can't tell an asset from a hole in the ground, I don't know what the heck you can tell the difference of, you know? So, the next thing here was this from my rich dad, was what is called a quadrant, and I think it's the most important book for people who want to make changes. And the quadrant stands for employee, S stands for small business specialist like a doctor, S for psycho, B stands for big business, and I stands for investor. So the other difference was my poor dad always said to me, and he said, son, go to school so you can get a job. So from the time most people are born, they're programmed to be employees, to work for the rich. And that's the difference. It was my mom, I used to fight with my dad. By the time I was in high school, I'd just fight with him saying, I don't want to be an employee. You know, I just don't want to do it. And I was flunking out of high school and all this stuff because I couldn't write, which is interesting. But so my mom finally intervened, and my mom was a registered nurse. And she says, Robert, you know, stop arguing with your dad. If you want to be rich, go to school and become a doctor. I said, Mom, there's only one problem. She says, what's that? I says, doctors are smart. She says, you got a good point there. You know, you don't. So early on in my life, I knew I wasn't going to survive here. It was obvious to me. So I've only had a job for 4 years, and that was with Xerox. I went to Xerox for the skills, an entrepreneurial skill, learn how to sell. So on the other side of it, my rich dad says to me, he says, Robert, are you basically lazy? I said, yeah. And he says, are you incompetent? I said, yeah. And you're not very bright, are you? I said, no. He says, good, you'll do well in business here. So if you look at this side, my primary focus is to start businesses. I have a gold mining company in China, a silver mining company in Paraguay. I have a lot of real estate companies, oil and gas companies. I just start businesses. I like them. Once they're up and running, the cash flows in, I go do something else. So basically that has been my philosophy since 1974. And that's where we run. Now, on my book on financial IQ, it talks about this a lot here and this. And financial IQ is this, very simply. It is what you do to solve your problems. It's how smart are you at solving your problems. So I often meet people come up to me and say, I got $10,000, I don't know what to do with it. I say, well, how long have you been a moron? You know, and I said, the first thing I would do if I were you, I wouldn't tell anybody you don't know what to do with your money. Because if you start announcing to the world you don't know what to do with your money, there's a lot of people that will tell you what to do with your money and it's to put it into their pockets. So the problem here is this. So financial IQ is just simply how you handle your financial problems. Now you look at it this way, for many people, when they have financial problems, they get a second job. That's an employee's mentality. I don't get a second job, I start a second business. There's a difference in the mindset of how a person handles a problem, okay? There's a reason for that. Another financial IQ is this. How do you protect your money? The biggest predator in the world is the U.S. government. They will take your money. The problem with making money in this quadrant here and this quadrant here is that these are the most highly taxed quadrants. Now, I'm not against paying taxes. I'm just not want to let them go without a fight somewhere along the line. So the problem with these guys here is they're taxed to at least about 50%. And over here, these are the doctors, lawyers, and accountants. They're taxed horribly. It's just terrible. The laws are horrible for these guys. Over here, I can pay 0% and 0%. The most important thing you can tell your friends is get off your butt and start your own business, even if it's at home. Even if it's on your dining room table. Kim and I, my wife, started Rich Dad, Poor Dad on our kitchen table and at a pizza parlor. We had a great time. But once you understand business, the moment you shift from here to here, the tax laws swing in your favor. The moment you tell a kid, go to school and get a job.
Amazon. And if you don't think that's cool, like one thing I always like to tell people, I invest in real estate too. So a lot of the stuff, the cash flow that I get from my businesses, that goes right into real estate. I have to spend about $20,000, $25,000, maybe $35,000 on a down payment in order to just receive between $150 to $300 a month, okay, in passive income. And so when you can do that with passive income from Amazon, that's pretty sweet. Without having to spend all that, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000. Of course, there's tax advantages and so on with real estate. But that is, if you look at how much you can actually end up making passively, just through a small investment of a course or whatever. I mean, it's a pittance. It's a pittance compared to what you would have to pay in real estate to get that same type of passive income return. Okay. And I have properties all around the United States, and each one of them only makes me around that much per month. Okay. Yeah. So hope that helps. Caleb, awesome comment. Really, really appreciate it. If you have a comment below. If you have a question, and do a question below. I will respond to your question, whether it's in the chat or video on this, because I really wanted to help you to understand the concepts that I do on a daily basis that I've learned over the last almost decade now, pretty close to a decade of being an entrepreneur. And it is a fun ride when you start understanding how these things work. It makes it a lot easier, and why you want to, in my opinion, I stay away from the Shopify stuff because it's too hard to turn into passive income. It's too hard to turn into an infinite return. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't. It's just me. All right. I'm lazy. I'm lazy and I like automating things. It's just the way it is. Okay. So anyway, catch you later. Comment below, like it, subscribe, do all that other stuff. We'll talk to you later. See ya. Online Empire Academy. Go to onlineempireacademy.com. Dean Soto. Peace out. See ya.